we get the live thing. And yes, Gunga Din. Okay, we'll just start Black Dissenter Matters a little bit. Audio will hear the behind the scenes a bit too, I guess. So the video, I could clip the video, I guess, if I wanted to. It's just live as a courtesy, really, anyway. People can watch it later if they want, I don't care. I might notice a chat, I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not very good at that sort of thing. See if it's recording well enough. How's it sound? Okay, it looks alright. Seems to be sounding alright. Okay. It's time to Black Jester Matters. We're not going to let the liberals off the hook. We're not going to let the liberals off the hook. Yes, Gab Dissenter just admitted he is a member of the Liberal Party. And he is a sleazy bastard. This is no different than what I would expect for the PPC if the Conservatives were in a minority government. But basically, the sort of populist side, backtracking and pragmatically whimpering and going on their knees. Master, master, master. Check out the movie Gunga Din if you want to know what I'm talking about. You don't really need to. Damn, I'm stupid with some things. Anyway, I'm the Black Jester, Gullik Budai, and this is Black Jester Matters. And I was going to start with decentralization again, and I don't like reiterating stuff. Well, something happened today. The Liberals and NDP had a backroom deal to betray their own memberships, and I'm enjoying it. I'm laughing, and I'm thinking, this is what you get for being a member of those parties. The Reform Party suffered this too once. Eventually there'll be a party merger. And what's the point? I mean, one's careful, one's reckless part of it. I mean, there might as well be a caucus within a caucus. But the people didn't vote for that. I mean, they had a chance to vote for a liberal out here, and they basically said, oh my God, he kind of reminds me of Sam Sullivan in a way, and decided not to do it. Of course, here they just vote for NDPers, but this is something NDPers can't even ignore. I mean, Gunga Din there just sold them out. Which is what a Gunga Din does. He's bullying all his members to also fall in suit. This is a coalition of the World Economic Forum in Canadian Parliament. So they're going to make sure we own nothing and are happy about it. Which brings me to decentralization. Really, fuck the federal parties. I mean, I'm a libertarian federally, but we're not in there. I mean, we didn't win anything. I mean, I'm the closest one to winning anything as far as that goes. But really, I mean, I think decentralization even has to go further than the provinces. I'm running for mayor of Vancouver. And Vancouver might have to take the leading edge on demanding decentralization, demanding their authority, demanding that and fighting against mandates on a municipal level as a municipal government, and fighting against the stealing of property and money and stuff like that for basically art funding and shit like that. You know, stuff we can do for ourselves, even stuff disabled people can do for themselves, like buy artistic works and stuff, or games, or movies now and then. I mean, it's a little harder, but it never gets cheaper. Knows that? They just keep on spending money on stuff, and it never gets cheaper. It's like it causes inflation or something. So, so, yeah. So this endless betrayal in federal politics and stuff like that is, and even provincial politics on certain levels, uh, is outrageous. And oddly enough, I would prefer to vote NDP than I would vote Liberal. I mean, Liberals like pretty much on the bottom. I'd vote communist before I'd vote Liberal. They're at least admit it what they are. Um, uh, should have. If I had a ranked vote, it probably would have first me, and second the communist, and third conservative, fourth PPC, and then the rest. Fifth green. I think put the green before the PPC because the PPC lied about me basically. So fuck them. They slapped me in the face enough times. Fuck them. But I don't hold it against you if you're a member there and you didn't have a negative experience because you were a member of the party. But they decided to slap other people in the movement's face, even on the conservative side of the movement, like your Christian Heritage Party people, slapped them in the face by claiming they were the only ones that hated gun control, the only ones that hated. Bullshit. I was more anti-gun control than my own party was anti-gun control. That's the way it was. I mean, and the PPC was wishy-washy. The PPC supported CSIS. They use it as a guise to stop illegal immigration, but it's bullshit. You never pump money into a intelligence agency without wanting to give them the authority to snoop around the population. They never use the money to do us any favors. That's the problem with nationalist attitudes. I mean, I'm a federalist, you know. Province first, well, no, city first. Well, you first, individually. Then the city, then the or town, and then the county, then the province, then the federal government last. The world can fuck itself. Because we all have our own governments, and so that they can deal with it themselves. And to figure it out themselves. In their own communities, their own countries. We need people running for municipal elections now. And running on a decentralized authority campaign, anti-mandate campaign, anti-federal government campaign, anti-provincial or at least non-federal, or non-national, non-provincial level on a fucking municipal power campaign. You should find your municipal flag and wave that. Wave your municipal flag. Fuck the other ones. That's your flag. Because that's the closest government to you. The closest political boundary to you. It's where you live. It's your community and everything else. We we cannot allow these central controllers to take over our freaking lives, our bloody towns, our bloody cities, and try to overpower us. I mean, Vancouver had 94% of the population injected with the jab, and they still had the mandate on them. That's the province's disdain for the people. They had nothing to do with health. They hate the people. They hate the members of the province. They hate individuals. They hate the people in the city as much as they hate the people out in the. If you don't have their power, they hate you. That's period. And normally, when it comes to the private market, I don't care if people hate me as long as they've got a good product. Problem is, the people who hate me have lousy products. I mean, they have nothing I want. I mean, well, maybe Morbius might be interesting to see on April 1st, I think. Maybe. But we'll see. I got pins for the mayoral race now. But I am. I'm dead serious. We need, and people would need to see a video like this, like played from someone's phone to them or something like that. You could spread it around with a thumbnail like here. I don't care. I don't care. You could email it around, share it. If you hit the share button on Odyssey, and I think even Rumble works this way if you're watching it there, but I promote Odyssey more. Or if you hit the share button anyway, it gives you a code, and you can. If it's like BitCloud or something, you'll probably do that too. You can. There's some places that will give you a sort of a referral credit if people join after they see the video. But if you have to hit the share button and grab the link there. There's a specific link called Monetize under the Rumble area. So I mean, if you share it in Odyssey anyway, it has a chance of benefiting your LibreCoin account. Anyway, that's how I understand it. Anyway, that's why I say there's a chance. It's a bigger chance than if you copy it from the address bar, which I used to do, and I just recently learned that okay, you do it this way. But anyway, make sure you share this information, share whatever videos you like and stuff like that. I don't usually tell people to do this. I don't like to tell people to do shit. I mean, you do what you want, but I mean, it's better for the world if these point of views are shared directly, and especially in the area of reliable opinions, people who stuck their neck out in politics and stuff like that, who have balls and who were willing to lose on principle and stuff like that. I mean, people you can trust aren't really shills. People who aren't afraid of the word libertarian. And I can be out there to be the one who's not afraid, so you can, be anonymous all you want. Because that's also the important thing. It's like people who I don't get why people do videos with an anonymous or a pseudonym and are unknown as anybody else but the pseudonym. Because, granted, I use a pseudonym for Black Jester because I'm a comedian and that is my comic name, but I still say my name's Gulak Buddha, and there's still a reference to who my name is. I am who I am, and I am the Black Jester. And, yeah, I think I gotta up the mic's level on this thing. Yeah. I swear Windows is... I can't right-click on that thing. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's not the right thing. Oh, that is microphone. Microphone allowances. Settings. There's just a test microphone there. Yeah, it isn't at maximum, is it? Okay, there. So now it's at 100. They changed the fucking thing again. The .NET thing is randomly shutting down the operating system because it's glitched. So, who knows what might happen. The stream might just disappear, the video might stop abruptly. So far, so good. It usually happens when I'm typing, and that's irritating. But yeah, so I've got the button right here. And see, I'll show you here. The buttons are available. About 98 of them left. Aside from me and one other person wearing them. I'd like to get it spread out in the city so lots of people can see people wear it. Promote the campaign that way. Start conversation. Talk about someone having the balls to stand up to the province, having the balls to stand up to the federal government, having the balls to even declare independence if necessary. Because I think what we have here is we've got a huge problem. We've got a huge problem with central authority. We have a huge problem with being told what to do by the state. And we need to put an end to that crap. Decentralization. And this has to be all across North America, all across the world, man. Start thinking of your city as your country. Start thinking of your town as your country. You know, maybe, I mean, I'll say it now. I'm a Vancouverite, not a British Columbian, not a Canadian. I'm a Vancouverite. I mean, to some extent, I'm a Budapestian, but that's how I was raised, anyway. But it's a problem being refugee spawn, right? I mean, you get a few generations that are, well, at least it gave me a good, healthy disrespect for the national government, being a refugee and stuff like that, because I didn't have to have the utter loyalty. I mean, I would look forward to even having a Vancouver ID program. Just say fuck you to the BC ID. Say fuck you, all that shit. I would be happy to see a replacement of the tax system. No more stealing from property owners just because they own property. None of these ridiculous fucking taxes like... I mean, this isn't supposed to be a political campaign speech, so I don't really want to... Well, I'm just saying there are things that need to be done, and it will not be done on any other level than local. I mean, we can expect local... We can demand the powers of local government increase, and a lot more. But I don't think it will happen unless someone gets in the mayor's seat and takes the fucking power. Takes the decentralization. Provinces can keep on doing what they're doing. The federal government can keep on doing what it's doing. But I don't think asking nicely will get anything out of provincial or federal governments, or state governments, national governments, anything. It will never happen if you ask nicely. Even county levels, Although we don't elect our county governments out here, so it may be different if you are voting for the county government. But it's outrageous. We can't allow. I mean, no one voted for a coalition government in the federal election. And let's face it, John Horgan betrayed a coalition and he solidified it by starting a new election to get rid of his troublemakers, which is probably what Trudeau will do. He'll betray the NDP, and then he'll have a new election. And the new election, the campaign will be, well, look, the NDP betrayed their own membership. And they'll destroy a lot of solid NDP constituencies. Why not? They did betray their membership. Liberals did too, but Liberals are a lot more stalwart, I think, about, excusing things. You get a lot more activist members in parties like the NDP. And activist members tend to get rather outraged pretty quickly and bail, either for, they might say, well, it might as well be liberal, or they might say, I'm green again. Yep. In bigger numbers. Or they might even support a libertarian. After all, I'm more likely to support the NDP than I am a liberal anyway, myself, so who knows. There are some people who are on the left on social issues that would support me, because generally I am on the left on social issues, most of them. The issue of life is a little different, but even that's a bit of a different volatile issue in every party, no matter what side. Especially with laboring, if you're like a laboring Catholic, I mean, you're probably likely pro-life, even if you're NDP or liberal or whatever left party you thought would protect your labor interests. But the NDP haven't been doing either, so they don't give a fuck about labor. Well, they give a fuck about civil servant labor, government labor. They don't give a damn about private sector labor. Because they believe they should be nationalizing all the industries anyway, so you should be a civil servant and not a private laborer. They would much prefer if you are a leech on the system. Part of the great bureaucracy. And I would prefer if people not be the part of the great bureaucracy. In some ways, we're all intertwined in some ways, so there's no need to recriminate people who were in part of a social program or part of a... and some people are put on disability because what the government did to them. So I'll understand that. I don't think there's a point recriminating. There are some people that had government jobs because that's the only thing that was employing. And I won't recriminate that. I'm sure they'd like to pursue a dream if they're free to do so. And libertarians will make sure people are free to seek their dreams. I would most like... I want to see freedom. I mean, even though if we become basically New Monaco or something like that. I mean, it's like become a principality or something. Whatever. As long as liberty is the policy of Vancouver, and we reject the oppression of any other level of government. And I'm, part of the metro area. If they get mayors that are willing to back that up, cool. We could probably make the metro the United Cities of Vancouver or something like that. Like that. Why not, right? We'll just establish that agreement through contracts. Contracts need to be a big part of liberty. Enforcement of contractual agreements, enforcement of property rights, enforcement of individual rights. And we need this is a good time for the police to actually legitimize themselves, because under decentralization we'll probably get a lot of pushback. Probably an attempted warring against us, pulling that Ukraine shit, bombing the unkind areas, the places that want to be separate. Not necessarily Russia. I don't necessarily think they want to be with Russia, like Russia thinks, but the problem with both Ukraine and Russia is they don't like the idea of recognizing them as independent countries, and that's the whole thing. In fact, constitutionally, they're so nationalized in Ukraine is insane. They believe they're a pure bloodline. They're actually a country of mutts, but they actually have a constitutional protection of the Ukraine bloodline, and there's really no pure bloodline there. The Zelensky should show that. But the Banderans that Canada's government supports are very much into that racial purity stuff, and one of the reporters on Global is named Bandera. I wonder what how that's connected. So I think the best way, if you want to support Ukraine, if you want to support the people in Ukraine who actually were suffering, then you would follow their lead and stand up for decentralization and cessation if necessary. Got a bit of a separate tooth there. It's whistling a bit. Okay. Seceding is necessary if we can't get our way as a decentralized force in the world. And if the police are there willing to defend that, they might actually still be worth something. Because we'll need someone to guard the border of the city. I didn't want to make this about my campaign necessarily, but I'm just speaking in general. Because I want other people out there running for municipal government with these ideas, with the radical notion of, fuck, I don't need the state, I don't need the federal government, I don't need any of this shit, we just gotta get out of there. We gotta handle our own affairs. Because we'll be screwed by all these other places. We'll be screwed by Toronto, we'll be screwed by Quebec City, we'll be screwed by New York City, LA, and stuff like that. And the Westchester rely on maybe Dalton winning the Conservative campaign. That's what the Westchester rely on. For a chance, we're going to end up with more Laurentian bullshit. Maybe with the PPC, it's the Laurentian Libertarians, I call them. I call them a few things, but that's basically it. I have no confidence in that. I also call them the People's Party of CSIS because they support CSIS, and I oppose espionage and snooping around for the government. We need liberty for everybody. And the only way to do that is on a local level. I always say vote local, but people seem to fail that in federal and provincial elections. I don't know why. Not everybody. People voted for me. So, I was voting local. They either met me or found my materials, and they decided, oh, this is right, and I'll do it this way. So that was cool. That was more than we had members in the party in the area. Well, it would be nice if they did become members, but I mean, even though I despise federal government, we kind of have to have federal candidates to say the federal government sucks on a federal campaign. We need something on all fronts, basically, because I mean, this sort of move would probably be easier. It'd be less of a hill to die on. But if you had federal candidates win that were libertarian and local ones and provincial ones, but a free state has to be established somewhere. And it's not going to be over a large area. It's going to be over polyarchy thinking, I think. And we need to put an end to this stuff. I mean, I support Wexit too. I think the Western independence will be a big strike for things. I hope the Wild Rose Independence Party does well in the next Alberta election. They have my general support, and should have the voters' general support. Gunga Din there is saying, we're not going to let the Liberal government get away with stuff. We're going to keep an eye on them. Bullshit. He'll call an election the moment you step out of line. And you don't want that, do you? He'd be in the strongest place to do it because he can get in some NDP slots. Because guess what? He got the NDP to betray their members. Oh. And the stealing they want to do with these two. It's like fucking. It's like two. There's no honor amongst thieves, so this ogre coalition never works. And they want to thieve. They want to steal. There is provincial dental, by the way, on some levels. Maybe not as much as people want, but people should be asking the provincial government for that. If the NDP were so into free dental, BC would have free dental for everybody. Does BC have free dental for everybody? You can answer that question, can't you? And BC has a British Columbia. There are a few places who had NDP governments that don't have free dental. You really think they're really into that sort of thing? They had the authority. They had majority governments in these places. I guess maybe they're more interested in playing COVID cop than they are interested in doing that stuff. But and I'm pretty sure playing COVID cop costs more money than free dental. I don't think free dental would ever stop me from teeth grinding. That's what beta blockers are for. I mean, even that's kind of wearing. What's happening in Canada is a good example of the evil of compromised politics, because it just creates a radical, well, sort of a semi-radical thing, I guess, because it's like the pretend radicals grifting the real radicals. And well, the thing, none of them are really that radical. Except they play it on TV. Juggy just wants to get his, or pardon me, Gunga Din just wants to get his money. How many cabinet ministry posts are NDPers going to get? None, right? The Green Party didn't get any in BC when they had that coalition. The Conservatives won won the Conservatives won the popular vote. So shouldn't at least the Conservative leader be Prime Minister with a minority government? Medication's paid for. This guy doesn't seem to know what the provincial governments they control are doing, do they? By the way, that shirt there, it's also over there, off camera. It's kind of weird, I think. Yes. Felix's tail is starting to stop. Well, what can I say? There's no point in being an NDPer. The betrayals. Gunga Din and helping out the, let's not call it colonists, let's call it the crown. I love how he's invoking Tommy Douglas now. It's ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, that's the way it is. Now I'll end something I did in the gaming stream. And how I despise allies. Allies are people who think that they are so important that their approval of you is absolutely necessary. Don't trust allies. Allies are, well, they're fakes. They're not real. They exploit people who feel marginalized and ignored. If you feel marginalized and ignored, realize that you are prime target for being grifted. It's like, and it's same with the white straight guys who mope around and go, oh, they hate us because we're white and straight. You know, if you're concerned about how much people hate you, how would you know who loves you or who likes you? You should really be focused on more of the people who don't hate you, rather than obsess about the people who despise you. Anyway, thank you again. Why is my mouse already running out of juice? Anyway, I'm going to end the wall. Now, I'll check if anyone's typed in any question or something. No one's there. I'm not sure. 37 minutes ago. A little bit longer than that. Oh. Okay, maybe there's more time, but I should have a good reason to do it, though. Because, I just wanted to say a few things. Actually, I didn't expect this merger right now. I was with the NDP and Liberals kind of had a secret merger anyway. But fucking election.
Formulary of essential medicines and bulk purchasing plan by 2025. So why was 2025 is not helping people?
2025 goals? Ooh. Ain't that exciting, huh? Just crazy. Oh, Chuggy's got a British Columbia flag. Go back to Scarborough. I'll criticize Chris Sky for a minute. Chris Sky was a little tolerable for a while, but now he seems to have this privileged idea that he has a right to a mic. And he actually tried to grab it from Drea Humphrey on Rebel News. What an asshole. I mean, really. I mean, you shouldn't fucking try to grab a mic. She was cool. The way she just tugged it away, and and just kept on going professionally. It was like, I'm freaking impressed by that broad. She's a tough little one. She's very little. She's like 4'8" or something. Although I'm really huge, so maybe I lost perspective. I'm like 6'4"-ish, 6'3"-ish, depending on how long the day's been, or how much I've been hunching over. But but this guy goes on. He seems to think he had a right to speak at the Freedom Orgs. I wish I could have got there because I slept in. What can I say? But I'm like up at 12:30 and oh shit, that started. Jack Pool Plaza, they had this thing, this worldwide freedom rally. Now I'm not sure about the Freedom Org people, so I'm not necessarily on their side about stuff or any. I don't care for this drama shit, but they seem to have suddenly just popped up in everything. I mean, well, to me, everyone kind of just suddenly popped up in the movement. So, okay, to the liberty movement. I don't like the people who say civil liberty. That always sounds like right-wingers covering for their right-wing, ban gay stuff. But liberty shouldn't be qualified with a word. Just like justice shouldn't be qualified with social. It should just be justice. Liberty should just be liberty. Justice is justice, liberty is liberty. No need to have an extra word there. Now, liberal needs it, like you need to say classic liberal because you don't want to be neoliberal, which is what the Liberal Party is. Classic liberal is libertarian. Now, Chris Guy seems to think he had a right. He comes out from here from Ontario. Ontario has a worldwide freedom rally. I'm sure they would have had him speak there. I mean, I think a worldwide freedom rally in British Columbia or Vancouver should have people from BC or Vancouver speak. In fact, they can even have me if they want. I'm not one to push it because I'm a dick. But but that's the thing. I mean, it's not there for some out-of-towner to come in and babble on. That it's a privilege for someone from Ontario to be able to speak there. It's a privilege for anybody anyway, because you can only have so many speakers. But the idea that some fucking guy from out in Ontario to come out here and say he has more of a right to speak on these matters than our own people here on the at an event, when they also have an Ontario event, is outrageous and ridiculous. It's a typical of the fucking Easterners. Chris Guy has shown that he is just typical of Eastern elites. And he's old money too, by the way. So it's no surprise there. But it's typical of Eastern elites that somehow he should have the right over all the British Columbians to have a say on anything. I mean, Christ. That guy has more options in BC to speak to press than even I do. When I run for office and stuff like that. This guy never even stuck his neck out running for office as an independent, much less anything else. So I don't know where he even gets the gall and stuff like that. I understand hating politics, hate politicians, but I mean, you should stick your neck out a little bit and make a statement in their arena. And people make a statement voting. It's not necessarily the most effective thing, but it's somewhat effective. Because if they don't see opposition in the ballot box, they're not going to think there is opposition. Hell, I'm not even sure what the threshold is for Trudeau to realize there's opposition. But this is outrageous. There's no point in stating you're another party if you're going to give a minority government a majority power. That is not opposition. So if you voted for NDP to have an opposition, congratulations. You didn't get it. Don't blame me. I voted for me. I voted libertarian. I voted for someone of principle, not someone who reads the party platform or a party speech. And that's what the NDP candidate did. That's what the PPC candidate even did in many ways. That's what all of them did. They read what the party expected them to read. Maybe the green one less, but I don't think the Greens really had their shit together. They're too busy fighting their own leader. Probably would have been better off if Burns ran again, but probably would have destroyed Kwan if Burns wanted running again. Anyway, I'm going to stop now. I'm sorry if this got too full of Canada, but yeah, you're getting the idea of what's happening here in Canada right now. I mean, it's kind of the equivalent of Bernie Sanders knuckling down, going on his knees, and giving Hillary Clinton the vote. Remember that? And then Biden the vote. And Tulsi going on her knees and giving Biden the support. That's basically what Juggy Gunga Din Singh is giving Trudeau right now. He's on his knees like Bernie Sanders. I guess you can say that the NDP got the real backdoor deal, if you understand what I'm saying. Alright, have a nice day. Pegged politicians and everybody else.